as we say every single Monday morning. It is a vibe. What is up, nerds? It's me, your buddy pal, Hey Archer. Welcome back to Nerdy Coffee here on Nerd Affiliated. So happy to have you guys here with us today, with me today, with the rest of your, you can't see the chat now, but at some point the chat will be there. So with the rest of your soon-to-be chat people there on this fine Monday morning. This is your weekly Monday morning show where we sit back, relax, enjoy. I don't know, based on the temperature today, you can go either way. But in my case, I'll say you enjoy yourself a little hot cup of brew, and we talk about the news. Oh man, that first sip is just always so good, so fine. It blows my mind. We got a lot to talk about. Actually, there's one thing I forgot to get ready for today, so let me pull that up in the meantime. But more importantly, if you have a YouTube channel, a podcast, a blog, an OnlyFans, a newsletter, smoke signals, whatever it may be, put it in the chat. Support one another. Plug yo shit. And as I said, so happy to have you guys here with me. With me today, with us today, the group. So let's say hi to everybody in the chat before we get started. Anthony in the house, first one in the paint. Good to see Yukon Phil in the house. He threw me off. Yesterday I was like, wait, where's my yakking with Yukon? Then I remembered, oh, that's right. That was on Saturday. Just this week. So I got to go back and watch the full replay of that. Geek Strong in the house. Good to see you. Great live stream yesterday. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the Sunday morning, just hang out, talk toys, hang out things. So make sure you guys are all subscribed to each other, first of all. Like, if you're not subscribed to each other, if you're scrolling through the list, you're looking at the comments on screen, and you're like, I don't think I'm subscribed. I don't think I'm subscribed. Do so. And everybody, if you can, if you have a wrench, throw your own link in the chat, in the comments. So that way everybody is subscribed to everybody. The man collects in the house. Good to see you. I am being tempted by the dark side. I have to be honest, man collects. I swear I was out of McFarlane, but I'm seeing all these wired capes, and it's making me reconsider. LeBron Fett in the house. Good to see ya. Everybody saying hi to each other. Love that. Archer, why your room different? My room's always different. I'm always just mixing it up. Today the window's open. Next Monday the window won't be open. Who knows? Maybe the air conditioner won't be there. I don't know. We get crazy. Steve in the house. Good to see ya. EC collecting in the house. Good to see ya. EC, if you guys don't know, is he's getting ready. He's getting ready to do some busting, and I've been pretty excited to see him put it all together. So I hope there's a YouTube video tied to that. I don't know if that was already in your plans. I don't know if that was in the cards. Wow, my glasses are dirty. But I hope that there's a YouTube video kind of locked and loaded or being recorded. Talk about you putting your very first cosplay together. Unless it's not your first cosplay. In which case, let me know what your first cosplay was. Man, these are bad. I don't even wear these glasses that much. They were toast. Ooh, back in business. You're welcome, Geek Strong. There you go. Everybody's sharing out the links. Steve sharing out his IG and TikTok. For sure. Steve, a fellow nerd buster. Millennium Workshop in the house. Good to see you. Man, I don't know how you find the time. I'm like just commenting on everybody today. the work that you put out. If you guys have not seen Millennium Workshop's 3D prints, I swear none of them look 3D printed. They all look like somehow you cast it out of resin or cast it out of metal. You're straight up Iron Man in the cave, just like making these helmets. I don't know how you do it. So make sure you guys are following Millennium as well. K-Walk Comedy in the house. Our very own actress, our stage performer in the house. How was this weekend? Did you break a leg? Is that how you say it? Like, would I say that after the fact? Did you break a leg? Because normally you say break a leg before somebody does a performance. The man collects says, come on into the McFarlane dark side. Water's fine. It's hard. It's hard. Video's coming great. You did a Negan cosplay as well. Awesome. G-Paw needs his glasses. I did. I was filling air when I was cleaning the glasses because I could not see the screen. I couldn't see anything. I saw myself as a blur. That was about it. That's how bad my vision is. My vision's very bad. Thanks, bro. I don't know how I do it. I work 50 hours a week at my regular job too. Wow. That's impressive. K-Walk says, great shows this weekend. Thanks. Sold out for the rest of the run. I love that. You're getting the button today. We don't usually do the button on a Monday, but you're getting it. Love that. Love that. Whoa. Steve said, I'm picking up the Mondo Mask of the Phantasm today. Whoa. Whoa. That's impressive. Man. The journey into 1/6 scale is it's a road, man. It's a road. I really want to go down that wormhole, but pricing's keeping me out, but also just space. Like, thank God I don't have a lot of space. Like, I have the Skywalker up there, one thanks to some of you, but man, if I went down the full Mondo rabbit hole, I don't know what I would do. K-Walk said it broke all the legs and almost my knee. I get tased in the play and have to fall to the ground. Wow. Look at that. Stunt actress as well. Need a video of that, Merc. Yeah. Steve's really good about that, making those shorts on TikTok and Instagram whenever he gets something cool. So look forward to that. But all right. Let's get the show on the road. Of course, if you guys want to always stay locked in with us, I have two different YouTube screens open. Hang on. Let me move this out of the way. Move this, do this, do this. All right. That should be better. So you know what it is? What you guys cannot see is on the side here are my notes. So whatever's behind the notes, I don't see because the notes are blocking everything. So I was like, where's that other YouTube screen coming from? That's what that was. So if you guys want to, stay involved in the community, see what's going on in real time, the best way to follow along is, of course, Instagram.com/nerdaffiliated. There you'll find links to everything. Previews of upcoming discussions, etc. We've been also trying to drop some reviews on Instagram, and I shared it on a post as well over on YouTube. So I dropped my short review of Dune 2. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but yeah, safe to say I enjoyed it. I very much enjoyed it. Wait, did I talk about this last week? Oh, shoot. I forgot all about this. See, my own page, reminds me of topics I wanted to talk about. Wow, I forgot to put that on the list for today. All right, we'll jump into that when I finish the plugs here. If you are a Ghostbusters fan and you're as excited for the new movie as we are, but just the community in general, we started the Ghostbusters fan page, aka The Real Nerdbusters on Instagram. So give that a follow if you're into busting. And We're posting a lot of fun stuff there. This was a big deal this week. I guess jumping to news right away. Over at the firehouse, they hung up the sign. And normally, the sign is like this. And a lot of people, I guess, don't realize it. Like, for most of the year, the sign is to the side of the entrance. But because of the movie coming up, because of the anniversary, they moved the sign out to be in its movie position. Why is my voice breaking so much today? Sorry about that. They moved it into the movie position. So if you're going to be down in New York in the next couple months, go check it out. Go check it out. Embarrassing to say. I have to take a swig for this. Oh, man, this sucks. This one hurts. It's embarrassing to say that I'm a New Yorker who has never been to the firehouse. I'll give myself the button on that.
Boo! Boo! Rubbish! Filth! Slime! Muck! Boo! Boo! Boo!
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why. Like a lot of times my friends and I would walk around New York City and be like, oh, that's from this movie. You know, oh, that's from this show. But for whatever reason, I mean, I guess the only thing I could think of is I wasn't a big Ghostbusters fan back then, but for whatever reason, I never sought out the firehouse. And I also didn't think it was a real place. Like, I know that in the movie, the inside is not that building, but the outside's that building. So very weird that I never visited the firehouse. So this year, hopefully make that happen. Only took 38 years to do it. Speaking of Ghostbuster stuff, Anthony has a video coming out that was for members only, but today will drop for everybody else. And yes, it is Ghostbuster related. EC says, I'm thinking about going in June. Oh, for the anniversary? Yeah. Yeah. I might make that happen too. All right. So, yeah, just so I don't forget, I wasn't on my show notes, but I forgot about this. In toy news last week, McFarlane announced a deal with a company called Stryker Entertainment to produce some Walking Dead figures. And I put out a poll for everybody, and I just asked, hey, are you guys even watching The Walking Dead anymore? I don't think I got any yeses on that. Is it even here? I think it was just in my stories, but I wasn't surprised by any of that. Even people I knew to be hardcore Walking Dead fans back in the day, it seems like a very, very dead franchise. No, I guess pun intended, maybe? I'll say pun intended. So, I don't know. I thought that, you know, this is a way to, I don't want to say cash in, but like, you know, it was probably very expensive to get the license back in the day for Walking Dead. And now he probably got a really, really, really good deal on it and was like, yeah, I'll make the toys. Why not? Screw it. I thought it was weird too that the deal is with Stryker Entertainment, which is like the company that I guess markets The Walking Dead, but also might own the license. So I was reading like their page, and even in reading their About You on their website, I couldn't really figure out what they do outside of marketing. So I was like really confused as to why their name had to be here on the print with Walking Dead. I understand they're a marketing company, so they're like, yeah, we want our name everywhere. But like, why would you press hard to have your name on something that people aren't watching anymore, as though your name is helping? Didn't really get it. I didn't get it. But I overall am not happy about this on one side of the coin, because we now have another franchise that Todd's working on. But the other side of that coin, hopefully more people have jobs, more people can work on these things. So there's that side to it. But I'm like, man, Todd, you got to slow down. You're putting out so much stuff. Quality is questionable at times. Taking on another franchise, I don't know if that's a good idea. Do not know. A couple people jumped in the chat while we were ranting just now. Aaron Waller in the house, good to see ya. Billy Nichols in the house, good to see you, Billy. It's been a while. T3 in the house, good to see ya. LeBron said, I thought it was canceled. No, they have like a new series on. EC here says the new series has been good. All right. I don't doubt it. Like I don't doubt that, you know, it's possible to make a good show again out of that, but I feel like the ship has somewhat sailed on The Walking Dead. And what is his name? Andrew Lincoln, the main character, the main actor. Him coming back to me made me even less interested in watching the show, because it's one of those scenarios where the person's like, "Oh, I'm over this. And this is all speculation, right? I'm going strictly based on like videos and articles when he left the show, because it was a big deal when he left the show. To me, him coming back is like, oh, I'm bigger than this franchise. I'm kind of done with it. This isn't my identity. I'm going to go do other things. And then all of a sudden, those other things do not pan out. So now we're back, the prodigal son. We're back to do more Walking Dead. I don't know. It doesn't, I'm never a fan of that. Someday I'll talk about a different company where that has happened. But we'll see. T3 says, I haven't watched since Glenn got killed off. I kept going. I'm gonna say, I don't remember what her name on the show was. The actress from Star Trek Discovery, which is coming back actually for its final season. When she left The Walking Dead to do Star Trek, that's when I stopped. I got back into the show because some girl I was talking to at the time was really into Walking Dead, and I was like, all right, yeah, I'll watch it. And I was like falling asleep every single episode. I go home, sit down, eat Chinese food, watch Walking Dead, and I was like, this show sucks, but I'm gonna keep going because people swear the show's good. But yeah, when she left the show, by coincidence, that's when I kind of stopped. That's my last memory of watching the show in real time. Man Collect says, I agree about Todd. They have too much already. His business model is swelling instead of growing. That's a really good analogy. Swelling instead of growing. LeBron said, that's when I quit too. General Kenobi, good to see ya. The ship has sailed and been torpedoed. Yeah. Wow, Steve never watched The Walking Dead. Interesting. Don't know how that one skipped you. Rambling said, I stopped the episode after Glenn. Then my grandma and I, yep, she's a badass, collectively lost interest. Yeah. I stopped Walking Dead when they got to Alexandria. That's when it got really good. When Glenn got killed and Negan came, that was the best. Glenn being killed off almost made me cry. I think the Negan thing was overhyped for me. I think that was a problem. I think in my head, I was getting into cosplay really heavy at that point when Negan was in the game. And I think everybody that year, I remember it like vividly. I was working at Best Buy still. And I remember some people at the store were like, oh, we're going to Boston Comic Con. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Who are you going to be? And like, I remember these two people were like, oh, I'm Negan. And the girl was like, oh, I'm going to be Harley Quinn. And I was like faking it. I was like, oh, that's so cool. But I was like, fuck, that's going to be this year. Everybody's Negan. Everybody's Harley Quinn. And sure enough, at Comic-Con, everybody was Negan. Everybody was Harley Quinn. And I was just like, oh my God. Baseball Bat City. Shout out to the baseball bat companies out there. You guys were making those sales, but holy shit. Holy shit. But with the Negan thing, I didn't feel. I thought he was like I love the actor, but I didn't feel like he was that badass, and the show dragged so much that it made me like not like him. Like, and I think because the governor already existed, I was like, what makes him different from the governor? But it's the aesthetics of Negan I liked. The backstory I learned from people explaining the comics made me like Negan. But the execution on the show, because the show has to have like 30 episodes per season, I was just like, all right, I'm over it. But now I don't hate Negan cosplayers, so feel free to Negan cosplay all you want. That year was rough, though. That year was rough. You just had to bring up the bat. Now I'm thinking about making one. There you go. Negan kind of bored me. Man, sorry about my voice today. I don't know what's going on. If you haven't watched the interview with Todd, if you haven't watched the interview Todd had with Chris Killen from comicbook.com, he says he used to be the only one who signed off on the protos, but now he's got others that do that. Yeah, I think we talked about that the other day. You brought it up, if I remember. And I get it, but at the same time, it's all about deadlines, right? Deadlines, timelines, fulfilling orders. And if he's signing off, if him or his board or whoever's in charge, if they're signing off on all these licenses and are agreeing to all these deadlines, I can't even blame the person who's signing off on the prototype, because all they're worried about is getting to the deadline. So they're just like, F it, good enough, keep going. Good enough, keep going. Good enough, keep going. And it's weird because we all want more toys out there, but not at the expense of quality. Not at all. EC has 3 different Lucille bats. That's funny. One more shout out for your boy here. Literally. Shoutout Ohio highlighted myself, Stephen Archer, content creator, and I'll give an additional shout out to Do You Speak Geek, aka Nix over there. He's the one that gave them my information and was like, hey, you guys should talk to this guy. So they did a quick little question thing with me, asked me for some pictures, and I sent those over. So shout out to Shoutout Ohio. The link is already in the description if you want to give it a read. It's pretty fast. Nothing too crazy. And hopefully it'll be more. At the end, they asked me like to nominate somebody and like shout out somebody. And I was like, I want to shout out all of you. So I told them I'll pass over some names at some point. I wanted to see how it came out. And yeah, I'll probably do that. All right. Continuing into nerd news. This one was awesome. Last week, we got a quote unquote set photo from Superman Legacy, which has been redubbed Superman. And oh my God, I almost said J.J. Abrams. James Gunn, he dropped a picture with the logo, with the seal, with the emblem. And that got people hyped. And then this photo dropped and people were like, oh man, that's the suit. That's it. Let's go. And a lot of the internet was like, that looks kind of weird. They said it looks kind of weird. And I didn't have an opinion on it. I had no opinion on it. And sure enough, when it was determined to be fake, I was okay with that. Some were in denial. I won't say your names. Some of you were in denial that it was fake. But I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I am not excited for this movie. I'm not excited at all. I have not had any good superhero movies in a little bit of time, so I'm kind of just like, I'll see what happens. I'm not gonna hype myself up. I'm not gonna, oh man, unless I have to do that to get invited to a premiere or something. Damn. But I want to be wooed, I want to be excited. I want it to be a natural reaction. And right now, if you dropped I'll put it this way, this might be crazy, right? Let me know if you guys agree or disagree with this comment. I am more excited for season 2 of Peacemaker than anything that has dropped or has been announced coming out, including Deadpool. I am more excited for a Peacemaker season 2 than I am Deadpool coming out in a couple months. Because I think Peacemaker was that good. Sorry, man. I don't know what's going on today. Peacemaker to me was that good. I could care less about Deadpool at the moment. And I think it's a Marvel issue there, not even Deadpool specifically. So, we'll see. We'll see. Actually, when I was at the movies yesterday, I did get excited, and we've talked about this before, I believe that part of the issue with movie theaters is too many trailers. Once again, I had to sit down through 30 minutes of trailers. Trailers I had already seen. All of them. Every single one of them. They worked for 2 movies in getting me excited. One, I kind of got excited for Furiosa, whatever it is. I didn't care when I saw the trailer the first time. I didn't care when it was announced. I didn't care when they announced like Chris Hemsworth was in it. Nothing of the sort. But when I saw it on IMAX, when I saw that trailer on IMAX, I was like, ooh, you got me. I said, you got me. I'm intrigued. The second movie that got me, Civil War. And not that Civil War or that Civil War, but the new A24 Civil War movie coming out. And that was partially because I saw all the actors and actresses that were in it. And I was like, all right, I'm interested. Still don't know if I'm going to go to theaters to see either one. If I go see Furiosa, that's going to be on a whim. Man, sorry. That's going to be on a whim, complete whim, if I see Furiosa. But they sparked my interest. Outside of that, and, obviously I'm excited for Ghostbusters, but nothing else has my interest. But you guys are all excited for Deadpool. Like, seeing the comments here, Peacemaker, according to T3, is 2026. Thanks for all the congratulations. Yeah, you guys are excited for Deadpool. I'm just, I don't know. I got nothing. Going into toy news, shout out to Mad Hatter Reviews. He launched a Kickstarter last week for his very first action figure in the style of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. And it's been doing pretty damn good. His figure is Flipor, the world's first action figure of a toy flipper. And I love it. The gimmick, the whole thing, so good. He's at $74,139, 603 backers. That's a lot of backers that are spending a lot of money. And he already hit a couple milestone goals that he had for himself. He's on the way to $90,000. And I'm rooting for him. I am rooting for him. Why not? He has the Flipor bots. They go with Flipor. Flipor actually has a flipping action. It's great. It's great. It's all about flipping those action figures. If I was collecting Masters of the Universe style figures, I'd pick this up. I would 1,000% pick this up. I might still pick it up just to, support a collector. Look at that. He had all these bonuses. They all got unlocked. It's great. It's great. Wasn't Shartimus Prime doing one that keeps not getting backed? Was it a number close to this? Was it in this realm? EC backed it. T3 says, flip already backing when Shartimus Street Humans couldn't. Oh, there you go. Exactly what I was talking about. Yeah, Shartimus had his own Kickstarter or crowdfund, and that did not back. So, yeah, shout out to Mad Hatter. For sure. For sure. Continuing on. This one was exciting to read and see. We all got tight. We all got tight last month when we saw the Suicide Squad Kills Justice League game came out. Nobody cared about the game. Nobody wanted the game. It just awful start to finish. But they dropped the scene online when Batman eats it. And we had no idea until that scene that Kevin Conroy was voicing Batman in that game. And we were just like, I can't believe this is the final version of Kevin Conroy that we have is tied to this crappy game. But sure enough, DC did some damage control. They were like, no, there's another one. There's one more thing coming out. Don't worry about it. You're getting Conroy once again. And turns out Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill will be together again in Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 3. So excited to see that we're getting one more Kevin Conroy iteration of Batman. This movie series, if any of you have seen it, let me know. But this will probably be part of the marketing, if I had to guess. So yeah, I'm just excited that the Suicide Squad game is not the last time that we hear Kevin as Batman. So yesterday in some wrestling news, we got the final, what I hope is the final match of Sting. And AEW was pushing this thing hard. They were pushing heavy, honoring the career of the legendary Sting. And I need to watch the match. I'm not going to lie to you. I was not down to pay Tony Khan to watch his pay-per-view, but I figured I'd watch it after the fact, and this was cool. You had Surfer Sting there, you had Wolfpack Sting come out, and then eventually he comes out in his current iteration, and it was good. I saw the clips, but I need to watch the whole match. My cousin said the match was awesome. He said it was awesome. So, shout out to Sting. Doing it to the very end and doing it well to the end. And that's why I hope that this is the last time we see Sting in the ring. Because seeing Ric Flair the other day after Ric Flair did his final match and he's still in the ring trying to do stuff, it's just not good. It is just not good. So I hope that this is it. I want to remember Sting on a high note. And selfishly, I'm really mad at WWE because I'm mad that Sting did his final match in an arena not tied to WCW in any way. Like I wish that ringside you had, you know, and maybe they were, but I didn't see any pictures of it. Like ringside, we should have had like Hogan there. We should have had even Luger there, right? Like wheel out Luger, put him ringside. Like we should have had all the legends of WCW there with Sting in his final match in the WWE. But, you know, contracts, corporate greed, you know, there's a number of reasons why that didn't happen. And that part sucked. But I'm hoping that now that he's done, hopefully his contract is done with AEW, and hopefully we can get some Sting action figures in the Mattel side of things, and we can get ourselves a Surfer Sting, NWO Sting, the Crow Sting, you know, with the long hair, like Ultimate figures. That'd be sick. That would be sick. So shout out to Sting. T3 said it was lackluster. Interesting. All right. You and my cousin have very opposing opinions of it. So I need to see it. I definitely need to see it. Creativity from the future. Good to see you. Welcome aboard. And if you guys can make sure, hit that like button, by the way, too. Make sure you hit that like button. Yeah. I wish his last match was against Undertaker. Ooh, that would have been cool. Yeah. Yeah. It should have been in. Yo, just imagine, right? If he was able to come back to WWE, WWF, as I like to call it. If Sting came back and his final match was at a pay-per-view that they dubbed like Bash at the Beach or some shit, and like they broke out the WCW ring because they own the license to WCW, right? They own it, so they can do everything WCW. Like Bash at the Beach, man. Like Sting comes out, the ring is WCW. They somehow paid Tony Schiavone to be there. Tony Schiavone and JR are there. Like, screw it, why not? And yeah, everybody's ringside. Hogan's ringside. Nash is ringside. Luger's ringside. Conan's ringside. Big Show's ringside. Like, man. Fucking, you're like, who are those other old guys over there? Like, who's that? And it's Disco Inferno. You know, it's Alex Wright. If any of these guys are still around somewhere, that would be sick. That would be sick. But instead, we get Tony Khan coming out and getting in the ring with Sting. It's like, get out of here, man. Get out of here. We don't need you. It's not about you. It's not about you. All right. Before we get to the old box office recap, which I'm very excited for this week, let's take one look at the current Haslab that is still going. Yeah, I know. It's a cool shirt. I found it somewhere. Somebody was like, hey, do you want this shirt? Resale is going to be like $1 million. And I was like, hell yeah. I want that investment, baby. So I picked up this sweet shirt. Journal Kenobi's Bunker. Hit him up. Get some shirts. Get some merch. All that fun stuff. So we have here the latest Haslab going on. The Legacy Robots in Disguise 2001 Omega Prime. And it's still going. 17,000. Did they hit the final goal yet? Was the final goal 19? Oh, 16. Yeah, they're good. So now they're just waiting on a stretch goal, if anything. See what the stretch goal is, if they're going to even do one. 10 days left on this, baby. Said it last week, say it again. One of the most lackluster Haslabs ever released. But the fans love it. There's just no buzz around it, which is interesting. Really interesting to see And, I do like this example. The empty can rattles the most saying. The toy community isn't talking about this Haslab at all. At all. I've not seen any Omega Prime videos, conversations in my timeline since it launched. The day it launched, people were like, oh, here's the new Haslab. And then crickets. Absolute silence. So if you were to ask somebody, hey, how do you think this Haslab's going to do? If you didn't show them the backers, how do you think it's going to do? They would probably say it's going to fail. It's probably not going to do well. I don't know anything about it. But sure enough, backed, hit all the goals. So that Transformers base, they're out there. They're just not that vocal, apparently. So interesting that to see. And I wonder how that applies to a lot of the toy stuff that we talk about. Because we'll come out and we'll bash a line, we'll bash a release, we'll bash a figure. But sales can say otherwise. McFarlane, right? We'll make all these videos talking about how McFarlane is starting to drop on quality, drop on accessories. But we don't, at the end of the day, we don't know behind the scenes how many orders are getting fulfilled. So we'll see. Will this have a stretch goal? Probably. If I was Hasbro, I'd do something. Just try to get 19,000. Like, why not? 20,000. But I don't know at this point. They may even know themselves, like seeing how it's slowed down. Like, stretch goal. Is it worth spending the extra money to get like a couple hundred more orders? I don't know. Yeah, Millennium's like, who's Omega Prime? I don't know, but apparently 17,000 people know who he is. Geek Strong says, I think Omega Prime works for Amazon. Yeah. But look, I mean, they have proved us wrong. They have proved every one of us wrong. I think we all assumed it would back. We all were on the same page that this should not be a Haslab. But it's being super successful. So, yeah, they know best. We have an exception to the rule here. All right, let's go to my favorite segment, box office recap. And I am happy to say I was wrong. I'm going to hit the button.
Boo! Boo! Rubbish! Filth! Slime! Muck! Boo! Boo! Boo!
I'm so happy I was wrong. So happy I was wrong. Dune Part 2 opened up at 81.5 in the US. 81.5. Not even close to what I thought it would do. Not even close. So 81.5 domestic, 97 international opening weekend, bringing us to 178.5. Now, going to our sheet here, I predicted 40 mil. Or sorry, I wanted 40 mil. I predicted 30. Is where I was at. Wanted 40, thought 30, and I was so wrong. So wrong. Let me tell you about my Dune experience. I'm just going to tell you about the Dune experience. So I relate this movie to Blade Runner. I relate to Blade Runner. We have a movie that is a lot of dialogue, and it's also super sci-fi, right? So very, very niche. It's Star Wars that's not really for kids is a good way to think about it. And the original came out, all-star cast. It failed. It failed by the numbers. We can look at them later if you want. Then they had the TV show on the Sci-Fi Channel. I loved it as a kid. Very dry. A lot of dialogue. And, did what it did. Part 1 of the new series comes out, and it does okay, right? Let's actually go to let's go here to franchises. Turn that off. Dune. The remake of Dune opened at 41 mil. Ended up total domestic, 108. 108. Now, going into Dune 2, first of all, I was excited when they said that part 2 was coming out, because I didn't think we would get a part 2. I was like, this movie did all right. Obviously, it did better. International fans tend to like the larger than life type of things. So things like that, Godzilla, anything with robots tends to do better overseas. But when they announced that we were getting part 2, I was like, yes, like I'm in. I want it. Let's do it. Going to that theater yesterday, I still didn't know anybody outside of you guys in the chat that was like, oh, I want to see Dune 2. Not a soul. I swear I was the only one sharing Dune stuff on Instagram. No YouTube videos were in my timeline for Dune. Nobody at work wanted to see Dune. None of my friends that I'm in group chats with mentioned Dune. Actually, no. I'm sorry. One person, my one friend Aaron, not Aaron Waller, different Aaron, mentioned he wanted to go see Dune 2. So I was like, all right, they're putting a lot of promo into this movie. But I'm not seeing any buzz. Facebook, nothing. TikTok, nothing. I go to the theater, right? And we went to, I showed it to my wife, and, oh, God damn it. I hate when it does this. Hang on. Give me a second. I showed it to my wife the other day, her first time watching the movie, and she really enjoyed it. God, I always forget my login. There it is. I showed it to my wife. She really enjoyed it, but she also really enjoys sci-fi. So I wasn't surprised that she enjoyed Dune. But I was like, hey, we're going to go see the movie. Do you have any interest in seeing it in IMAX, or is this one that you're just fine seeing it in regular? And she said she very much wants to see it in IMAX. So I was like, oh, okay. Sure. So we went. I bought the tickets last week, and sure enough, in all the IMAX showings, all the nosebleed seats were filling up. They were actually filling up. And yesterday before we left, pulled up Fandango, and I looked at all the standard showings at my theater, and then the one that we went to see this in IMAX. I looked at the standard viewings, and the standard shows were not that, they weren't really filling up. There's a couple seats here and there, but it was all IMAX. IMAX viewings were just filling up. So I was like, all right. So people understand that this is a movie that if you're going to see it, you got to see it big. I go to the theater. Man, there were all races, shapes, sizes, religions, creeds, politics. It was a freaking rainbow of people to see this movie. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, are people really this hyped for this movie? Like, where did this come from? Where did this come from? And the movie was great. The movie was great. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. But then I was thinking about what the director said. And he said that he believes, I mentioned it in my review, he believes you can watch Dune 2 without watching Dune 1. And I disagree. However, I can see the idea if we go based on New Hope logic. Your father was in the Clone Wars. Your father was betrayed and murdered by Vader. And you're like, oh man, there's all this stuff that's happened. I've never seen it. Nobody has seen it. So I get the idea, but in this movie, I don't think it's quite as easy to just jump into. Not part two. It's great. It's a great movie. Shocking to say. If I'm counting the 30 minutes of the movie trailers, we were at the 2-hour mark, and I was like, do not stop. I was like, do not fucking stop. Just please don't stop. Keep going. And it did. And when the movie was done, I was like, that movie's fucking good. That was good. That's a movie. I left that theater never wanting to be part of the movie industry more than that very moment. When the credits rolled, I was like, I need to be part of a movie production at some point in my life, because that was amazing. Absolutely amazing. Does the movie have issues? Of course. I think the major issue in the movie is pacing. I think that in the movie, there's 2 times where they say a timeline, like they say, this is the year blank, or this is like the start. I don't know what the term was, but like, this was the star date. This is the star date. That, and it didn't seem consistent to me. I couldn't tell if like years had passed, days passed, months had passed from the events of the first movie to the final climax of this movie. Like I'm not sure of the timeline specifically, but to me it would make more sense that it was years. Years would make sense, but I don't think that's the case. I won't spoil anything. I'll just tell you guys, you should go see it. If you're a fan of sci-fi, if you're a fan of what was it, the show on HBO, House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones. If you're a fan of Game of Thrones, I think you'll really enjoy Dune. Different houses, this bloodline, that bloodline, the one to rule them all type stuff. Like, I think if you enjoy Game of Thrones, you'll enjoy Dune. 1000%. Acting's great. And if you can, I'd see it in IMAX for sure. I don't think you need to see 3D if that's an option, but I would for sure go see it in IMAX. Let me see the comments here. I did not buy the bucket. I did not buy the bucket. T3 said 30 mil. Wow, I had it at 70. I mean, 70 is bigger, and we're talking domestic when we give our numbers. So I didn't see how 70 was possible with the first one only doing 41. Like, I'm like, that's almost 100% increase. Like, that's crazy. Crazy. But you were closer than I was. Lots of hype behind that sequel. Still haven't watched part 1. Interesting. I'll wait for streaming. Can't wait to see Dune 2. The popcorn bucket. Aaron said, I've seen, all I've seen is buzz for Dune 2. So those of you that have seen a lot of push behind Dune 2, is that on TV or social media? Like, where are you seeing it? because I mean, I don't have regular TV anymore. So, I mean, I know they were probably on like the Tonight Show and all that stuff, but I didn't see anything. I did not buy the bucket. Millennium said, I've been saying this for years. When movies come out, charge people like $60 and they can watch it one time at home. And when it officially releases, you get a copy of the movie. I don't have time to go to the movies. Bro, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, I would debate the price, but I mean, I'm still, even after that amazing experience, right? Even after that amazing experience, I still think theaters are dying. Like, it's a fact. You know, I was there to see this movie, and there was nobody walking anywhere else in that theater. And this is like one of the biggest theaters in Boston. Nobody else was walking to any other theater. You go here, you look at last weekend, you drop from 81.5 to 7. To 7. There was one week we did the box office recap. 5th place wasn't even at 1 million. It was like 800 something. You know? So I agree with you. I think the movie theater should be an option, not the only method. And I know that piracy is their fear. They got to figure it out. They got to figure out a way to get around the piracy issue. Because, you know, would I have seen Dune in theaters after seeing it at home? Maybe. You know, it's a movie where I don't even know why I had to see it this weekend, because it's not like there's any spoilers, right? Like, I'm not afraid of spoilers, but I was just like, I gotta see this movie. I just was like, I need to see it. Now, will the momentum continue into next weekend? I hope so. But I really wonder. I wish we had a big enough platform to get like thousands of answers here. But I really wonder how many people saw Dune 2 or potentially will see Dune 2 this weekend that have not seen Dune 1. And if that potentially ruined their experience. Curious. T3 says there's been 24-hour... Oh, it's been playing 24 hours here. First showing was at 12 a.m. Friday. Wow. I'm glad to hear you say it's good. Sci-fi needs a win. I'm telling you, in the group chat, like, we watched... Or Sal was talking about Dune. Aaron had just saw it. And Anthony still hasn't seen it. But we were like, Dune... The new Dune movies make me hate Disney more. Truthfully, no jokes, no jokes, no sarcasm, nothing. You watch these movies and you're like, this is what Star Wars should be. Like, this is the larger franchise. This is the franchise that has the most money. They have God level money. And you see what we get with Star Wars, and then you watch Dune, and you're like, what are we doing? Honestly, I was watching Dune 1 on my TV screen, 55-inch TV. It's not a flex. You can buy a bigger TV. But even on that TV, I'm like, this is beautiful, man. This movie is beautiful. This is what happens when you let somebody you let their vision come out. You let somebody just go. You let a director just go. That guy, the guy who directed Dune, directed Sicario. Think about how different those two movies are. In every way. Let me just make sure I'm not getting my movies confused here. Does it have director on here? Cast information. Probably should have done crew information. IMDb. Dune. And you don't, it's not pronounced Dennis. It's like Denis or something like that. He did Dune, Blade Runner, Arrival, Sicario. Come on. You let a director do their thing. You just let them go. You hire them for a reason. You get Dune. You get Dune. And I'm telling you, man, I'm sitting here watching Bad Batch and I'm just like, fuck you, Disney. I can't. It's Dune. I mean, you get the point. You get the point. Sorry to be so like, but it's true. It's true. I was watching, I mean, do you guys remember they had the fan edit, the photoshops of Oscar Isaac playing Old Republic characters from Star Wars? It was like the same outfit too. The Dune 1 Oscar Isaac. You know, like people took this, added like the Old Republic symbol on here. Like, it's so good. It is just so good. And we can't get anything like this. Not even close. Not even close in Star Wars. So you recommend seeing the first one first? Yeah. I cannot get into Game of Thrones, and then with all the hype, I didn't want to bother with Game of Thrones. I avoid the hype shows when I can. I mean, the good thing is this one's only 2 movies. You get, 6 hours runtime between 2 of them? Maybe a little bit less. I recommend it. I never watched Game of Thrones. I'm actually intimidated by the series. Yeah. These ads. Lots of advertising on IG and TikTok. All right. Game of Thrones was the best thing ever. Theaters have been dying. I agree. Dying to see it. I'm a huge Dune fan. You need some exit poll. That's on Dune. Same here. Cannot watch Dune 2. Theaters are dying. He also directed Prisoners with Hugh Jackman. Dang, that's a pretty good roster. Yeah, I love Sicario, the first one anyway. Yeah. It's crazy to think that that's the same guy. All great movies, yeah. Might be the first time on the old Warner Brothers regime didn't meddle in a film. Yeah. Exactly. This makes me dislike Disney. When I saw the first Dune, I said this is what Star Wars should have been. Right on, yeah. How many more Dune movies will there be? Or did this cover it? I think with this storyline there's one more, but I feel like I saw somewhere that there's going to be other ones potentially, and you can. I mean, there's just off memory of the first 2 movies, there were 7 houses. He was part of 8, 9, then the Emperor 10. It's like 10 houses all together, you know, and he's one story plot, like one story thread. So you can do lots of spin-off stuff. It looks like Dune is on Hulu and Max, so maybe I'll check it. With your recommendation, I may see Dune 2 in theaters. Yeah, I recommend it. I think Star Wars is dumbed down because it's made for kids of all ages. A movie like Dune is made for adults and can have better, more complicated dialogue and story. There's children of Dune. That's true. I disagree. I'll tell you why I disagree. I think you can show a kid Dune, right? Like Dune, a kid won't necessarily understand all of Dune, but when you get to the overall concepts of like a chosen one, your destiny, there's a emperor that runs everything and you're just a prince amongst a kingdom that's going against the emperor. Like, it's all basic concepts. I was a kid when I saw the original Dune. So you might need an adult to explain stuff, but there is no like nudity in it. There's no cursing in it. There's no, very little blood. There's not a ton of blood in it. You could show that if it's PG-13, I think Star Wars just thinks, and Disney, specifically, they think kids are dumb. They want to dumb the shit down as far as they can get it. And that's why a movie like Rogue One is so good. Because it's like, you watch Rogue One, you're like, here's the first time that they treat us like adults. Yeah, it's stupid. It's like, get the disc. In the world of Star Wars, we need a disc. But, that aside, you're like, here's the first time Disney has treated me like I actually have a brain in their movie. That's why I like Rogue One so much. So much. I was even thinking, about seeing Dune 2 without seeing Dune 1. I saw Empire Strikes Back first. I saw Empire. I did not know New Hope existed. And I got through it, no problem. But I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of moving pieces in Dune. I feel like with Empire Strikes Back, you have the Luke story thread, Han and Leia, their story thread, and they all interject with Vader at the end of the movie. So I feel like there's not a lot there, but with Dune 2, there's so much happening. Him with the Arcanon or whatever they're called, with his mother, even. There's so many threads going on at one time that I feel like if you have no point of reference, it'll be really hard to follow. Geek Strong said, I'm an adult and I still don't understand Dune. I've watched it a couple times. I guess that's why it's easier for me to get. Because I keep falling asleep while watching movies. That could do it. Yeah, for sure. But the next thing coming out that we're hyped for, of course, is Ghostbusters. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm tired of these trailers. I'm really tired of the trailers. It needs to stop. It needs to stop. Because I made a joke online on, I think, Instagram, and people were like, agreed. I feel like I've seen the movie at this point. There's so many trailers and shorts and clips and behind the scenes. You've got the hype. You've got our hype already. Just let it go, man. Just give us the movie. No more stuff. There was a new gadget. I won't say what it is, but there's like a Hulu special that came out, and they show the new gadget and how it works, I think. The details of it. Like, save for the movie, man. Save it for the movie. So yeah. Go see Dune 2. My prediction? Pain. Nah, it'll be good. I'm gonna stick with my predictions for Ghostbusters, by the way. I'm not gonna change that. Not at the moment. Not at the moment. But thank you guys for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I think the only thing I didn't talk about was Sony did a layoff of like 900 people. POSs. Yeah, that's all I gotta say about that. Heritage Live every Thursday, 8:15ish p.m. here on Nerd Affiliated, but every Monday morning, 9 a.m.ish here on Nerd Affiliated, we have Nerdy Coffee. 2 different shows, 2 different vibes. Either way, you're stuck with this guy. Nerdaffiliated.com. Get yourself some cool merch. Join the channel memberships for 99 cents a month. Links are down below for all of that. More specifically, support your friends, support one another, and I'll talk to all you nerds in the next video. Peace. I'm out of here.